It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Benny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk, focused on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
It's that time again, Wednesday evening, Cats Talk Wednesday. Terry Brown over there, Vinny Hardy here, Terry Brown there, the soul of the BBN, the newly appointed.
I gotta hand that to Drew Brown for putting that out there.
Your cousin gave you a new nickname. He glossed you with that today.
Yeah, it was fun doing the Kentucky Dad podcast for the second time. So that was a good half hour. Love talking to Drew. It was a good time.
You at that other table. You like those coaches with two titles. You like Bill Self and Jay Wright, and you at a different table now. You 2-time
Yeah,
guest.
absolutely. We chopped it up about being long distance and doing things as the girls are growing. Teenagers now, man. So it's tough. That's right, 13 and 16. So it's a fun age, baby.
Absolutely, man. Well, good stuff. It was fun hearing you and Drew. Season 2 of the podcast got you on there, and that was good stuff. It was. I'm surprised you hadn't said something, or maybe I missed it. Back-to-back Terrys, because TJ Walker and then yourself starting off season 2. So Terry was full of it's Terry Strong starting it off on the season 2 on the Kentucky Dad podcast.
Touchdown, Terry.
Yeah, because
that was fun.
I didn't know what TJ stood for TJ Walker, and I was like, well, he's a Terry also. I said, well, look at there, Terry Walker and Terry Brown back to back.
Yeah, it was fun. So I know we got a lot of ground to cover. Let's get to it.
Yeah, but last week we had Oscar coming back, and then the following day, what it seems like forever ago, 6 days ago, Shaden Sharp moved on, for all intents and purposes, probably staying in the draft. We had Kedron Smith transfer from Ole Miss, and help out Kentucky's defense, kind of like Jacquez Jones. Antonio Reeves today. So, yeah, all kind of stuff going on. We had the men competing in the SEC championship in tennis. Came up short to the Gators, but made a good run to get there. And so Abby Steiner doing Abby Steiner things, all kind of stuff. We got the NFL draft. Your Lakers are clowning, your Niners are clowning, all kind of stuff.
I knew you had to get that stuff in. But speaking of track, here this weekend in Des Moines at Drake University is the Drake Relays, which is a very big deal in the track community. It's a big deal this year for Kentucky because head coach Lonnie Green is going into the Drake Relays Hall of Fame. There's going to be a banquet tomorrow, and that's going to start the relays. So I'm hoping on Friday to check that out. General admission's only like $15, so I'm gonna try to go and see what the Drake Relay are all about.
Man, that's congratulations to Coach Green, because he kept it. He maintained ever since Coach Florio left, and like you mentioned, but you and Drew talked about it yesterday. The track program is still right up there. Didn't drop off at all. Coach is getting recognition. They're gonna give him his flowers tomorrow right there in your city. So that's a lot of good stuff going on.
Absolutely. Bear with me one moment. I got this dog that's messing with this door. The folks that catch us on video are gonna watch me fooling with this dog.
Yeah, that'll work. And look, we got. Look, I know Terry's feeling.
Come on.
I got the same situation with a couple cats here. So sometimes they scratch on the door, paw on the door, and they all of a sudden got to use the bathroom right here where the office is at, and their litter box is in here. Or, I had to run Katie's cat off. His name is Max. He want to try to sit in his chair and think that's his bed all of a sudden. Try to get cat hair all over the chair. So yeah, you had to let him know and shoo him on out before it gets started.
Oh yeah.
All the pre-recording animal interactions. That's part of it. Part of it.
This dog wants to be in here with me. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I was just talking about the same thing while you was going with your dog, doing the same thing with the cat. In addition to all those topics we had, we got our guy coming back on, JR the Bossman. He was just on here talking March Madness with us. We talked a little Chris Rock, Will Smith, because that had just went down. So we bring him back on because he is connected to the NBA. He's covering games. He's in Memphis one night. He's in Atlanta covering the Hawks. He's everywhere. So we're gonna talk about these NBA playoffs with JR. So that's gonna be fun because that dude is, got all the knowledge and connected and got inside scoop and all kinds of stuff. So got a fun show for everybody. And gotta let you know too, man, because we come to you on Anchor, been on Roku now for a few months, thanks to the BS3 network, being sort of the third, letting us be in here, and so proud to be a part of it. Just a message the other day that there's now let me read it word for word so I don't mess it up. A live web link where, direct web link to our Roku channel, bs3tvlive.com. So that way, even if you don't have the Roku device, you can just click that, scroll down. Well, click that, hit on demand, scroll down to sports, and you can pop up, and all our episodes are just right there. You just let your mouse hover over one of them, click it, it pops up, you can play it. And it's just got like 10 hour episodes on there. Got our Dana Falk episode, it's got the episode with JR. It's got several of them just right there. So bs3tvlive.com. I think I put it out on the show Twitter yesterday and put it on the Facebook page. And once we're done here, this one will be right there on there in the rotation, and everybody can check that out. And if you want to listen audio wise, if you want to watch, it's going to be all right there, bs3tvlive.com. So that's big breaking news on the BS3 network front.
We big time. We big time now. So
and I think I'm gonna put that link out there once we get done. Normally put the little audio link. I'm gonna put that where you can click right to it, and we should pop right up.
There you go.
Yeah, so cool stuff going on with that. Oh, where you want to go first, man? Because I think I'm gonna save your team's my questions about your team's clowning for when JR gets on here. But we still got tons of directions that we can go up until then. So,
well, the NBA playoffs. You and I are both NBA folks. I know we're gonna get into that with JR, but I love the NBA playoffs, and even though my team's not in it, I'm still watching. I think what we're seeing overall, there's a changing of the guard. LeBron is old and not in it. Kevin Durant, you forget he's old. This is year 15, I think, for Kevin Durant. So these guys just being able to get it done on their own, I think those days have passed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Nets, I think it was Bleacher Report put out a thing, the more disappointing team, the Nets or the Lakers. Well, I said Lakers because I'm personally more devastated by the Lakers season than the Nets season. But the Nets, man, because remember, LeBron and AD came together the same year as KD and Kyrie. Now, I know KD was hurt and all that kind of stuff, but this is the point I always make is you win championships. That's the bottom line. So you can say the Lakers this year were disappointing. Last year, losing the Suns in the first round, you would think having LeBron would get you past the first round, but you won a championship. So I think you take that. Now that New Orleans has the Suns 2-2, all this conversation will maybe New Orleans won the Anthony Davis trade. No. 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 You know, I don't think I understand there's a little bit of nuance there. And maybe for the next year or two, maybe the Pelicans are going to be better than the Lakers. I don't know. But you won a championship. So, and that's what the Lakers' goal was. Now, Bomani Jones made the point that the dudes the Lakers traded to get Kareem from Milwaukee ended up being decent, right? In Milwaukee, when we were growing up, the late 70s, the early 80s with Sidney Moncrief and Terry Cummings, they were very, very good, which is fine, I guess. But don't nobody remember those teams, right? We've got winning time talking about the Lakers. That's and that's my thing about that is if you're LA, which I'm LA in this scenario, you want to win. So if you can get Kareem, you trade whoever it was to get Kareem. You trade whoever it was to get Wilt Chamberlain. You trade whoever it was to get Anthony Davis, because the Lakers aren't about having a fun team to watch. That's not what this operation is about. And we can laugh, or y'all can laugh and say, well, they've only won once in 10 years. Okay. For every other team, that's good.
Yeah.
Right? If I went to the Mavericks and said, well, the Mavericks have failed as an organization because they only won once with Dirk. But everybody gets their jokes off about the Lakers, which is fine. I get that. People want to kick the Lakers when they're down. That's fine. But no, the Pelicans didn't win the trade because the players they have now are not the same. The Brandon Ingram now is not the one from 3 years ago.
No.
You know, those players, you look at Lonzo Ball before he got injured in Chicago, not the same players, right? So I don't think it's fair to kind of, you win a championship. That to me is how it goes.
And all be all. That's what, that trumps everything else.
But the Nets, we did. Now look, this is not in retrospect or we looking back with 2020. We knew who Kyrie was before he went to Brooklyn. We knew that dude before the pandemic. And I think you and I talked about it, and I said I would not hitch my wagon to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
All the bizarreness he's shown over the last 8 or 9 months. That's who that dude is.
Yeah, it's been there all along.
And he doesn't get it. You know how I know he doesn't get it? Because he sat there, looked at us with a straight face, and said, Boston has been gelling since December, and we haven't had that opportunity.
Right.
And I forget his name. He was on ESPN Daily. He's one of the beat writers for the Nets. He said everybody just kept sitting there waiting, like, he's almost getting it. He's almost there. And it's like, you're the reason that the Nets didn't gel.
Right.
Now, if he wants to make a stand for what he believes in and don't get the shot, that's fine. Whatever. He stood on that, right? But you then have to say, we didn't gel because I wasn't here making my stand. You can't just be like, well, we didn't play together a lot. So, this is what the Nets wanted. This is what the Nets, they hitched their wagon to KD, who is peculiar. Great ball player, but KD is peculiar. He's just a different dude, right? And you get Kyrie, he's a different kind of different dude. And then you bring in James Harden, who's also a different kind of different dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then you trade Harden for the ultimate different kind of different dude. Who's running this? You have to have somebody on the squad that's going to say, look, we got to be about some basketball. And we know James Harden was passive aggressive. That's how he was in Houston.
Yo.
The thing is, all those dudes are never happy with where they are. Kevin Durant wasn't happy in OKC. It was obvious toward the end he wasn't happy in Golden State. Kyrie wasn't happy in Cleveland before LeBron got there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And as a Rockets fan, you know Harden wasn't happy, and there wasn't anything else the Rockets could have done to make James Harden more comfortable. Daryl Morey bent over backwards for that dude. And when the organization bends over backwards and you're just like, yeah, I don't like it.
You know how it's going to end.
Right. So you can't bring in 3 of those dudes and then trade one headache for another headache.
And Harden, and Harden's so frustrated at Kyrie's headachiness that he was just like, he checked out. Let me get me out of here. Get me out.
But the thing about Harden, though, and again, you know this being a Rockets fan and following him for the 5 or 6 seasons, whatever he was there, Harden always played. Now, you could talk about his style of play. You could talk about his usage rate, but he showed up. Like he stopped showing up when he didn't want to be there.
Right.
But when he was playing, okay, you could count on that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So letting Kyrie be part-time, that's and Kevin Durant seems to be too laid back. He's like, I just want to hoop.
Right. Yep.
You know, if it's Patty Mills, I just want to hoop. If it's old Blake Griffin, I just want to hoop. Which is fine, right? But if you're gonna, and the folks are gonna say like LeBron James' team can't miss the playoffs, Kevin Durant can never be swept. Not at this stage of the game. And so I was like, yeah, when we talked about the preview, I said Kyrie and KD are good enough for the Nets to win, but I didn't think that they were just gonna mail it in.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that Ime Udoka, who, you know, his calling card needs to be I'm married to Nia Long.
Mr. Nia Long. Absolutely.
But I didn't realize that he was a Nets assistant coach last year.
I didn't either.
So he knows those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And Tatum is making that leap, and Jaylen Brown is making that leap, and Marcus Smart is, defensive player of the year. And that's all I'm gonna say good about the Celtics. Like the Celtics can beat their chest because of this sweep, but they beat a flawed Nets team. Now, how they move forward, I don't know, because you can play good defense with Kevin Durant like that, which their defense with Kevin Durant, I didn't think you could play defense on Kevin Durant. I thought it was that old, you can't stop him, you can only hold the containing. But they played D on that dude.
Yeah.
Which helped because he didn't have anybody out there.
Right. Bruce Brown can only do so much.
Right. And then it was just a bunch of dudes. It was just a bunch of dudes.
For real.
So and this goes to what I see a lot of people talking about, I don't like super teams. And I'm like, that's what the NBA is. Now, it's fair to say that you don't like when players make their own super teams.
Right.
But when you and I were coming up, like we some old heads here, but you needed at least 2 Hall of Famers and maybe a third to compete.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like when I talk about the Lakers, their philosophy, we're going to have 2 dudes and then we'll figure it out. Well, if your third dude is James Worthy,
yeah. And
you know, you look at Boston.
Come on.
Yeah, Michael Cooper. Like
Byron Scott. I mean,
yeah, when you're
them dudes is solid. I mean, put them on another team, they'd be stars.
So yeah, you just say you don't like it when the stars do it. Because I heard a lot of people talking about, well, because of this Nets thing, you just can't have two Hall of Fame players anymore. That's not it. No, that's always been the thing in the NBA. We remember the teams that aren't like that because they're outliers.
Mm-hmm.
Like the '04 Pistons.
Yeah.
They're an outlier.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Wallace went in, but I don't think anybody else has gone in off that team.
Don't think so.
I don't know anybody else that have a case. Maybe Rasheed, maybe Chauncey Billups, but
Friends. I mean, Kareem, Magic, Worthy, Bird, McHale, Parrish. And that's why they
Dennis
ruled
Johnson
the
is a fourth guy. And just like the Lakers had, Bob McAdoo for a little bit, like Jamal Wilkes is your fourth option. Come on.
Yeah.
So
that's why they were dominating the whole decade. Every year they was
right.
Couldn't be knocked. Houston it was a fluke when Houston knocked them off in '86. Ralph Sampson had to throw up that shot.
Yeah.
So
and your Rockets in '95, it was, obviously Akeem and some really good dudes, maybe not Hall of Famers. In '94,
yeah,
they ended up '95 having Drexler come in, but it wasn't the same Clyde. But but those are outliers.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to admit, but MJ had Pippen. And whatever you think about Pippen and all that kind of stuff, the dude was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put them with Dennis Rodman, that's 3 Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So even the 2011 Mavs had Jason Kidd. Granted, not the same Jason Kidd, but for my money, just say you don't like when the players do it. Just say that. That makes more sense than I don't like super teams, because every NBA champion is a super team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we remember those rare cases, like the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. You can't if you win a championship, however you did it, it was good. Like not one person is out here saying, well, Toronto traded DeMar DeRozan and they only got Kawhi Leonard for a year because they won a championship. And you understand you let longtime Raptor DeMar DeRozan go, who's been still playing at a high level. You do that so you can get a shot at a championship. Not one person is saying that the Raptors shouldn't have made that move. Not one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to bring your drama to the Lakers. That's fine. But if you make that move and it proves out that you win a championship, you won.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't remember how the Rockets got Drexler, but whatever it was, did it work?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even remember who they.
Because it could have gone sideways. Because
it was Otis Thorpe or somebody.
I think it was Otis Thorpe that left.
Mm-hmm.
But Mad Max was not happy about that.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't pan out that they win, that could have been a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just think if you get a chance to win a championship and you do it, it makes sense.
Yeah, go all in and it pay off. Yeah, because everybody's window is, it closes quickly as it is. And when you're not one of those teams, when you are Toronto just trying to make it, and you decide to push all your chips to the table, and it pays off like that, sure, most people aren't gonna say, well, Clay got hurt, well, this and that. The Warriors got Toronto won a chip. Nobody
remembers that stuff.
Yeah. Because as many titles as your Lakers have won, they can have 4 or 5 more if not for injury, but you remember that. But the teams that beat the Lakers, nobody's remembering those injuries. Oh, Magic was
Nobody's crying because in '89, Magic had both hamstrings. Byron Scott's legs were shot. Worthy was not 100%. Nobody. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
I mean,
11 in your lifetime is enough, but it could have been 14 or 15 in your lifetime if they were healthy. But 11 is enough. 11. You got
11 is pretty good.
yes, sir.
But the rest of the playoffs, and again, I know when JR comes on, we'll talk Heat versus Hawks. The Hawks are back to what they were with Mookie Blaylock and Steve Smith. They're the team that makes the playoffs that you always forget makes the playoffs.
Yes, man.
It was a stretch there where the Hawks, you were a Hawks fan until they traded.
Had to get off that narcotic in 95.
Yeah, but they just always just seem like they're in the playoffs, and the Bulls played them the first round, and but the Heat, they look pretty good. I still don't know if Jimmy Butler is your best player, if he's your number one, is that good enough to win?
Yeah. Speaking of outliers, if they were to win one, would they qualify? Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Bam, Hero, they would kind of be under that outlier mode we just been talking about if they were to win it. I mean, they made it to the finals in the bubble, lost to your Lakers. If that team is able to win one, because that would be Spoelstra winning without LeBron and Wade and Bosh. And if he did it with this group, hey.
That would be special. So we'll see. Butler was hurt for a game or two, I think. So we'll see.
They closed them out last night without Butler and Lowry. They still handle business.
But the Bucks and the Bulls, the Bucks should take care of business tonight. Yep. Get the Bulls out of my face. I follow a lot of Chicago fans because of the Cubs thing, and I just want to be like, get out of my face.
And Caruso, you keep it up with him because your boy Caruso.
This is what Bulls basketball is about. Get out of my face. You had one good run. You fortunately got Michael Jordan. Tell me something about some Bulls basketball history. Get out of my face. You can't name one player before Michael Jordan. You can't name one.
Jerry Sloan and Artis Gilmore.
Get out of my face.
After that, I ain't got nothing to say.
I tell you, the series I'm going to watch because it's getting ready to be epic. The Sixers versus the Raptors.
And who?
Doc. You already got more 3-1 comebacks against you than any coach in NBA history. I kind of want to see him give up a 3. I kind of want to see it happen. I'm rooting for Tyrese Maxey, but I kind of want to see it happen.
Man, because that'd be like Yankees Red Sox come down from 3-0 and win 4 straight.
Yeah,
never happened in basketball.
And you've got the best player in the series.
Yeah,
but it's Doc. It's Harden not showing up. And you can put it on Maxey if you want to, because you knew that game 1 was going to be an outlier. Like, I'm happy for him, but Maxey ain't a 35, 40-point game scorer. Like, that's not where he is. But I'm happy for him. But it's got to be the former MVP.
You got 2 of them. What? Well, Embiid hasn't won it yet, has he?
No, Embiid has not won yet.
Okay, so Harden. But this is where he wanted to be. After he stopped wanting to be in Brooklyn, he wanted to be in Philly. And this is what I thought would happen. But then I was like, okay, I gotta admit I was wrong, because they came in and I thought he was gonna stunt Maxey's growth. I was like, this is the last thing Maxey needs is to have, and then they were just rolling. And now maybe a little bit later, here comes what we thought, because it's happened every single time.
That high usage rate of Harden, we can't see people sustain this for a long time. That's just the way it is. Another matchup, because we got the East. Yeah, the Wolves and the Grizzlies. I don't know if it's because Ja Morant is that special, and he is, because he killed the dude last night. He baptized that dude into oblivion. But what's the Wolves? What are they doing? You got to be able to hold on to a lead, man.
Yes.
And everybody in the national media is bagging on Cap. And I've been trying to roll with Cap. But, man, you 6'11", 7 foot, you got to go get a bucket in the paint. Like, we call those European soft when they play that way.
Yep.
But Dirk could go get you a bucket on the block.
Yep.
Yeah, he had that fadeaway at the free throw line, whatever. But Dirk could go get you a bucket. Cat, if you're 7 foot and you got someone 6'6" on you, you got to feast. You got to feast.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Yes.
I love Cat. He's been through a lot. He's a former Wildcat. I want to love him, but
that is.
You got to put your booty on somebody and go get a bucket, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the playoffs are all about. The playoffs are about, do you have someone that can go get a bucket? Basically.
Nope.
The defense is tight.
Mm-hmm.
Your legs are shot because the season is long, but can you go get a bucket?
Nope.
And Cat's not that dude.
Every time he pops off, they blow a lead. He's mic'd. He's flexing to the crowd. He trying to talk that talk, and then it's blowing up in his face every time. And I'm like, oh.
And I want to root for Cat.
I'm like cringing every time he makes a play. He tries to go to the hole, or he falls down and gets knocked over, and it's not even really that much contact. I'm like, oh. And man, because you've seen all series long, Ja Morant's dad and Cat's dad been side by side.
Yeah.
You know T. Morant is giving it to him at the end of these games. Oh my goodness.
If Ja at 6'2", 6'3", whatever he is, can bring it like he brings it, Cat, you got to do it, man. You gotta do it. 11 field goal attempts, one game, like you got to bring it. This is year 7.
Is this already Anthony Edwards' team? Is it already shifted?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and again, I hate it because I love Cat very much, and I want him to do well. But at this point, it is what it is. He's not made that leap like we've seen Devin Booker make.
Yeah.
Like we saw Anthony Davis make.
Mm-hmm.
Like John Wall made before he got injured.
Yeah.
And I want so much for him to do well, but it's one of those things I can't want it more than he wants it.
Tyrese Maxey's already making it. I mean, more than
go get a bucket.
38 in game 1. Sure, he's not that dude, but he had 28 in game 2. I mean, this is his first time in the playoffs.
But he played well last year in the playoffs.
That's true.
He came in because that's when they still had Ben Simmons, and it was like, who's scared to shoot? Well, Max was like, I ain't scared.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I don't know if it's because the Grizzlies are good because it's Ja Morant and a bunch of dudes I ain't never heard of. Desmond Bane, I didn't know that was a real person.
They got some snipers, man. And seems like they shoot better away from Memphis. In Minnesota, I mean, all them comebacks, not missing threes. Now, Dylan Brooks, we did know him from Oregon.
Yeah, that was the Coach K.
Coach K reprimanded him and all that. But he's still I think he's averaging 18, 19 a game. He's doing better than I thought he would have done in the NBA. I didn't think, he'll be okay. He'll be a journeyman role player. No, they talk like he's like the glue and the heart and soul of the Grizzlies. Talking about Dylan Brooks. I'm like, wow. But they got snipers.
And Memphis is tough. Memphis is the one team that reflects the city in which they play.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have talked about how it was really perfect how Magic ended up in LA and Bird ended up in Boston. Because those squads won championships playing that way. And you can even say that your Rockets, right? Houston, they kind of got a chip on their shoulder because it's not Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you think about with Texas. So Houston's always in that. So that's how they won those championships, especially being that 6th seed in '95, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Grizzlies, I don't know if their philosophy is we're going to get dudes that you don't want to fight. Like the basketball is almost secondary, but when you're talking about the last 10 to 15 years, NBA players that you probably don't want to fight, Zach Randolph, Tony Allen, Mark Gasol seemed to be like the Gasol brother that I always thought that Powell was more prep school, and then Mark was the one that went to the public school just right up the street. I don't know how they do that in Spain, but that was all the mindset I had. Powell was definitely more L.A. Mark was definitely more Memphis,
Mm.
right? And I say that with love. Again, my mother is from the 901. She's from Memphis. But those teams, the grindhouse, like that is what they are about. And they got a bunch of dudes that will grind on you.
Yeah.
And John Morant being fearless, it's great. And that's when they play whoop that trick. Because that's what they do at Memphis. I love Memphis.
Steven Adams ain't no soft wallflower either.
Heck no. He's
mix it up.
Was he New Zealand? Is that where Steven Adams from? Yeah. He's from the rough part of New Zealand. So if you're not going to win a championship, and this is where I do agree with Bomani Jones. If you're not going to win a championship, get some dude that reflects your city. Like right now, the Pelicans, they got a bunch of scrapping dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you look at who the Suns got and who they got, maybe CJ McCollum is, the third or fourth guy taken. Maybe everybody being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the Suns, you've got, you take CP3, you take Booker if he's healthy, right? Maybe Ayton, and then you may get to CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, those guys. Yeah. But they got a lot of dudes that want to grind on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. That's good for them.
And I talk about my Rockets, and I'll say they were eliminated since the season started because they basically been tanking. Look, the Pelicans kind of bloated out of the water because they started out 1-12 and still turned it around. So, and they were at 1.3-16. So, I mean, Houston really ain't got no excuse starting off 2-14. Look at what New Orleans did. So,
right, absolutely. And then we got a couple more. The Mavs and the Jazz. Get Utah in my face. Utah has probably been in the playoffs more than any other team in any sport in North America in my lifetime. They probably only missed the playoffs 4 or 5 times in my lifetime.
Yeah, I don't like neither one of them.
But get the Jazz out of here, man.
I can't take it.
Because what always happens is in the playoffs, teams start hunting for Rudy Gobert in the pick and roll. And he doesn't want to come all the way out because he doesn't want to leave. And no one else on Utah's team is interested in playing defense. So I saw a stat. They gave up 18 uncontested 3-point shot attempts.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Rudy trying to contest threes and protect the rim because,
all ain't nobody doing nothing.
All my guards just getting blown by. I got all these blown-bys, and I'm trying to run out here.
And so we made fun of Gobert because, he's French and because, the whole optics of the whole before the pandemic started.
Yeah.
Patient zero. But, yeah, they got to blow that up, man. Because there's no way for them to get any better.
Yeah.
And contrary to what Louisville fans may think, Donovan Mitchell, man. Like, I don't see him as being your number one guy on a championship team. I just don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
He's nice, but
Quinn Snyder been there for a minute too. He been there So, man, yeah, maybe it's time for a new voice. I don't know where they go or what they do, but yeah, Snyder's been there for a long time. He left Missouri a long time ago.
The only thing about Utah losing I like is Vernon Maxwell. If you've got something in your life, like I just wish I could find something that I despise, just like Vernon Maxwell despises the people of Utah. Like it's great. It fills my soul with glee because Utah lost. Let me at Vernon Maxwell. It's great. That's his thing. And the last one, Nuggets Warriors. Obviously the Nuggets, they ain't very good. They got Jokic, but a whole lot of men. It's Boogie after 4 or 5 major injuries. Not quite the same guy.
Yo.
and just a bunch of pieces.
Jamal Murray hurt all year.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. hurt.
Yeah. He stayed hurt at Memphis, Missouri too.
Yeah, he didn't play until
Mhm.
deep into the season. I think he played
Yeah.
against Kentucky the one game, and that was it. He may only played like 1 or 2 games.
Yeah. So.
We'll see about the Warriors. The Warriors look good right now because Jordan Poole is nice, but
Mhm.
Steph, Clay, they old, man.
True.
And not just years, but those playoff runs. You add another 30 games a season. It doesn't take long for you to get to where you've played an additional season or two.
Mhm.
You think about that run LeBron was on getting to the finals. That's 2 or 3 additional seasons of playoff minutes on you. So we'll see. They look good. I don't know if it's because the Warriors look good or the Nuggets just aren't good.
Yeah.
So you got to see.
For sure. Let me hit our little promo video too, because we got our guest in the green room. And we talked about where you can watch us live now, bs3tvlive.com. But we're part of BS3 Network, and here's all of the other podcasts on the network with us. We'll do that. TB might have froze up. We'll get him back. We'll get our guest because we run it back with JR the Bossman. Gonna do all of that. Let's go ahead and get the promo going and then get everybody back here in just a second. Got to get the promo in there. Got our guest backstage. Y'all just watched and listened a couple weeks ago. We chopped it up with him about March Madness. Chopped it up about the slap with Will Smith and Chris Rock. We got all that in. And of course, you got to have him back to talk these playoffs because, look, he is connected. He is everywhere. He is here and there covering games. He's interviewing everybody on his shows, talking about the Bossman Show. JR the Bossman is back with us again. What's up, brother?
Brother Vinny, how you doing, my guy? Trying
Man.
to recover from last night's loss, man.
Yeah. When Butler was out, I thought, well, maybe they might have a chance with Lowry and Butler out. They might get them one more game and prolong it a little bit, but didn't even happen. 5 and that was it. Gentleman sweep, man.
Nah, bruh. It took everything we had on Friday, plus the Miami Heat missing shots that they usually make, and a transition layup by Trae Young for us to win a game. So when Butler was out, it didn't really change because they're gonna throw Oladipo at him, and then more Strus and more Martin. Because the name of the game was wearing down Trae Young, making him a jump shooter, making him a 3-point shooter. Now, Trae's good. We can go floater, layup, 3 jumper. When you force him to shoot threes, he's only a mid-30 shooter from downtown. Force him to shoot number 3s. And we go 1 through 5, which is called red, guys. You go switch 1 through 5 on with Bam, and you can go Tucker, Butler, Lowry, and Strus, and Martin, and Gabe Vincent, Oladipo coming out. And so, he got worn down. And unfortunately, the Hawks tried to go to the dribble handoff game, pin down game too late. In game 3, it did we win? Yeah, but it took everything and then some to go your way to win. In game 4, reality saying again. And last night, hey, without Butler, the Miami Heat system, the Heat culture, defeated Atlanta Hawks. Unfortunately, does not have a culture. It's just You know, this is a team that's on the rise. I said this all last year, Vinny and Terry. We got lucky last year.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks, week 4 seed. You know, very weak. And what did he run? This young Kentucky boy. All he runs is a middle ISO for Julius Randle or Derrick Rose down to the basket. He was hiding in the corner on Bullock. The Hawks defense is 4-on-5 with Trae Young out there. Didn't do it. In Philadelphia, Doc Rivers, you know, there are weak matchups out there with Philadelphia, but let him have on Ben Simmons in the corner the whole series. Then he got hurt in the conference finals. That's one thing. But, you know, I caught heat for this, but we just not that. We're not a championship team. It reminds me back when they had ISO Joe, Josh Smith, Marvin Williams, you know, Jason Collins, and you know, Bibby, and you know all those guys, Jamal Crawford. It was just a good team that'll make a run. But you can't win a championship.
That's exactly what I said earlier when we kind of talk about this. That the Hawks are kind of stuck in that limbo. Those teams that you were just
the middle.
Yeah, in that purgatory, but it goes back to like the Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock teams, where it's like they get to the playoffs, but then you almost forget that they were in the playoffs because it's like, you know, they play a team. It's like they show up in the other team's championship video. Like, you know, the Bulls had to play the Hawks on their way to the, you know, and that just seems to be where Atlanta's just kind of forever stuck in that purgatory.
Yes, and just didn't. And I would say this, you know, I've said this on my show. I've said this privately and publicly. The Hawks should never run it back to what they did because that was a fluke. I mean, it just wasn't what you thought it was. Everybody in the East got better. Like, why were you the second last team standing in the Eastern Conference? Let's do the math on why you was there. Not that you was there, but why. It's the why for me. Now, my guy is John Collins. Okay, pay him his money. But couldn't you wait to extend Herter this offseason? Now you can't trade him for a year. Because we signed an extension, Vinny and Terry. You can't get traded for a whole year. Capella, you signed him to extension. You can trade him for a whole year. So looking at our roster now, what's left of it? Gallinari, we already 1.7 over the luxury tax right now. It's constituted right now. So Gallinari has a partial guaranteed contract. 5 of it's guaranteed. So if you cut Gallinari, you're already saving $16 million against the cap. Then they on the luxury tax again. So he's not coming back most likely. Lou will probably retire. Okay, Skylar Mays, LSU guy, G Leaguer, two-wayer, not really making any impact. Probably not coming back. All right. Gord Eugene, Louisville, Kentucky rival. 1 year, $4 million. He ain't really played much. Was one coming to be a third center? Probably not. He's gone. Right. Kevin Knox, Kentucky guy again. He shot threes in garbage time. He couldn't play defensively. Probably gone. Right. DeLon Wright played well enough. I can get more money elsewhere on a mid-level exception deal. He's probably gone. Right. So that's the case. Who's your only asset you can trade? John Collins. To improve the roster, retool the roster. So by elimination and hit piece articles in the Athletic from certain guys, sources, he won't be back. And look at that Athletic right now. There's a hit piece article out there. If you want to read it, you can. For all you out there, don't. It's a lot of lies in that article, but some truth to it as well. Let's just say that this team is issues behind the scenes that I probably can't even talk about on the air, but it's issues. And Collins won't be back next year, most likely.
Now, is that something you kind of hear about where teams will kind of poison the well on players that they want to move away from? It's like when they want to move away from somebody, all of a sudden sources say, you know, the player was X, Y, and Z behind the scenes. Is that what you're saying we need to be on the lookout for?
It's already been done. The article's out. Okay, go to this. God, I hate to say this dude's name, but the Hawks writer for the Athletic. Just look him up, okay? and the athletic writer for the Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks athletic, you'll see who it is. And this is how you beat the paywall. If you click on the 2 large A's and say show reader, you gotta pay. You can get by the paywall. Okay. Some of that stuff is some thread of truth to it. I don't know if it's a lie, but you can tell who was the source of it, who fed the information. It's pretty obvious. Let's just say they had a bad series. Hint, hint.
Oh. Wow. Well, his scoring average almost went down by 50%, right?
So in this article, it calls for Eamon Millen to be fired. He's unimaginative and didn't make any adjustments. Some truth to that. But this is the guy you wanted. You had Lloyd Pierce fired, and now you want him fired too? I'm just saying, So, just some things going on, man. And if you hear Hawk players post game talk about ball movement, the ball head energy, who do you think they're referring to? So I would say, is to answer the question, Terry, it depends on who's the one leaking the story. You have to read it. You have to read the story, but who does this story really help? Is it the team or a certain player? But also some articles are for narrative too.
Wow.
But in the Hawks case, this hit piece came out. We ain't been lost, but even a whole full day. This hit piece already came out, so it's already in the canon, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is known for clickbaiting. I won't say his name. I refuse to say his dude's name. Atlanta Hawks athletic writer. So all he gonna get from me.
Now, one question I want to get pick your brain on. We know the Hawks have their issues. What about I almost said New Jersey. What about the Brooklyn Nets? How do the Nets move on from a pretty embarrassing sweep against the Celtics? Kyrie's probably going to want some money, and
he's on. I want to tell you about Kyrie. Kyrie's going to sign an extension or a new contract that's runs like Kevin Durant's contract does. It's going to match Durant's pretty much. Same what Kawhi Leonard did with Paul George. The money matches up, the talent matches up. Brooklyn is going to have to make a decision. How much we're going to luxury tax because they're capped out. You have aging star veterans on your roster. Drummond, unplayable. Marcus Aldridge, unplayable. The shell of Blake Griffin, unplayable, right? Nick Claxton, missing a free throw, 4 for 21 from the free throw line, Nick. So Patty Mills, Bruce Brown can't really give any space on the floor. So look, but Joe Harris is out and Ben Simmons is out. If you get those 4 guys back with Steph Curry, that's a pretty good 5 right there. If you get Simmons and Harris back with Curry and Durant and Irving. But to build out your bench, you have the veteran minimum exception. You have the taxpayer mid-level section with $6.44 million. Who can really get with that? And young kids in the draft. But they do have a trade exceptions, guys. They can get somebody to fit their trade exceptions. They have a bunch of those. But it's going to cost them more money on the tax.
But the thing about that is with the Nets, like if you're a veteran and we know that they start hopping around trying to get rings, I'm a Lakers fan, so I've seen a lot of those dudes come to the Lakers. Is Brooklyn an attractive place for those kind of people? Because, Kyrie's doing his own thing. KD is KD, and then you got Ben Simmons.
If you have Harris healthy with a Curry, then you have a healthy Durant and Irving, and Ben Simmons shows some sign of life. You can do some of these conference. Guys will sign to come off the bench there. Patty Mills is a player option. Practices the free agent. So is Bruce Brown. Kessler Edwards, a 2-way guy. Cam Thomas played at the LSU. So there are some pieces, but also Steve Nash can't coach.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
So
how do you
there?
Right? Because Kyrie said we don't need a coach. Is that what he said? Like I could be a coach, you could be a coach. Is that what he said?
He said we're co-managers of the organization. Co-managers, brother.
Yo,
I love Kyrie. Kyrie, none of his talk is dangerous, but it's funny.
Man, and he
me and Kyrie are cool. So me and him a good relationship. We have a good relationship. Me and Kyrie Irving do.
Okay, and like I said, he's not dangerous, but sometimes he's like, man, okay, all right.
This dude talking stuff, but
yeah, absolutely.
Kyrie is truly a free thinker.
Yeah,
that's one way to put it.
My man gonna do it his way.
Yeah.
Some hell of hot water. He doing it his way now.
Now, keeping it in the Eastern Conference, your thoughts on the Sixers and the Raptors? The Sixers up 3-0. It's looking shaky for Doc and
because Glenn gonna choke as always. Glenn choke Rivers.
Got him, Glenn.
You went to his government day.
Glenn choke Rivers. Come on, man. No, Glenn gonna choke it off. Glenn ain't no closer. Y'all know that. Look here. I'm not a Nick Nurse fan, but he another one. He'll make no adjustments either. He done saw enough of what they're gonna do. It's a Harden pick and roll or an Embiid post up. But the problem is that Joel Embiid hates the double team. He gets impatient with the double team.
Yeah.
So if Joel Embiid was not so impatient with double teams, he'll be better. He hates it. A lot of big guys had that problem. Shaq had it. Dwight Howard had that problem. A lot of them in the post, they hate the double team. They don't want it to come. They get too impatient. Hey, let them come, make the right play. Force them to make them make a decision. I'm gonna let them beat me. I'm gonna let you beat me. I remember this when the Hawks played the Magic in the playoffs when they had Dwight Howard. Larry Drew decided that, hey, Jason Collins and Al Horford, let them score. We'll stop everybody else. And the Hawks beat the Magic like 4-1, 4-0 because those that had Stan Van Gundy as a coach. They just says, hey, Dwight, get everything you want. Everybody's going to be shut down. Dwight Howard outscored the Hawks by himself. He couldn't. So that's a choice you have to make as a coach.
What do you think Jerry's Lakers are going to do for a coach? I just got to know about that.
Nobody wants that job right now, Terry.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the shadow GM who denies he's a GM, that passive-aggressive, receding hairline sucker.
And the thing about that
agency and also the agency Clutch Sports too. That problem as well.
I agree with that. What upsets me as a Lakers fan is it's not like when LeBron was in Cleveland and they were trying to get that one championship. So you give up a lot of power to get. I'm like, we're the Lakers. We shouldn't be out here just giving up to try to get a chip. Like, we the Lakers. What are we doing here? We running like one of these small town operations. Like something.
Well, it is though. It's mom and pop.
It is still the buses are still,
Yes, it's you living that life. It's mom and pop. It's the Rambis family, Jeannie Bus,
yeah,
Palinka, and Tragic Johnson.
I'm old enough to remember that when that came out.
Yes. So those are the 5 running the organization. 4 inside, 1 out, and Clutch Sports.
So somebody's gonna take it. Nobody wants to, but somebody will take it or get it. Who?
I hope it's not Mark. I like Mark Jackson. He don't need that problem.
I'm surprised that Mark didn't get back. He hasn't been coaching since. He's the one that told us 10 years ago that Clay and Steph are going to be the best shoot backcourt ever, and they laughed at him.
He got blackballed because of his religion.
Yeah, but I remember when he said that, people said, "Oh, you crazy." And yea, verily, it came to pass. Them dudes balling.
Yes. So nah. For Mark Jackson's sake, Mark, do not take Sacramento or the Lakers. It's not worth your time.
Wow.
Maybe Charlotte, but not the Lakers. No, because Michael Jordan be too heavy-handed there too. So
Is that the issue in Charlotte? The
what's that?
Jordan does he,
Very,
is he
very,
hands on?
very. It's not publicized, but behind the scenes, he's very much hands-on, right? Trying to make decisions. Just like Mark Cuban is in Dallas.
And the thing about MJ is that's how I would imagine he would be. Like I couldn't imagine him just being happy to be in the owner's box. Like you see pictures sometimes he's at practice.
Remember, it was a while. He'll sit on the bench with them. Remember, he said around the bench.
That's when he slapped Malik Monk in the head, wasn't
it? So it took COVID to get him off the bench. He's on a suite now, but pre-COVID, he's on the sidelines with his woman right next to the team on the bench.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a hard way to for the coach or player to do anything. If you got Jordan sitting there watching.
Yes and no, but it's like that's the. But when you know where you sign, like the Knicks, they gonna spy on you. They gonna limit what you can do, try to control your life. You sound New York Knicks. That's what they're gonna do. The Knicks are very like, oh my God, can't have they spy on people.
Now, will the Knicks be good in our lifetime? Like we hear things about the Knicks and the NBA is better when the Knicks are good.
Sell the team, yeah.
Man.
When Dolan sells the team, when he quit hiring hand-picked, minions. And then he has a knee-killing head coach, a knee killer, and Derrick Rose must have Stockholm syndrome. Taj Gibson, Stockholm syndrome. Like you saw the man that killed your career, your knees. Look at Lou Dean, Kirk Heinrich, who else? Joakim Noah. All the knees he done killed.
Wow,
yeah, those baby. Like, you can't play dudes 44 minutes a night. You can't do that.
On a back-to-back.
You can't do that.
Yeah, he's a knee killer.
That works if you are a JV coach somewhere, but you can't do that with the pros. 44 minutes, and we're gonna practice. You're gonna play 44 minutes again.
RJ Barrett, his career is already gonna be trash playing for that dude.
That's low key Billy Gillespie stuff right there.
The knee killer,
absolutely.
Thibodeau.
So, looking out west, we've got the Pelicans and the Suns tied 2-2. We got the Wolves and the Grizz.
3-2.
Is it 3-2?
Yes.
Phoenix got them last night.
Oh, did they? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm out of. But how surprised are you that the Pelicans are putting up a fight? Is it because Devin Booker is out, or do the Pelicans they have something that they're building down there in New Orleans?
A little bit of both. All the above. They're building some down there. Hey, Willie Green can coach. A former Atlanta Hawk, he can coach. And guess what? He's running the Sun system. He was there.
Yeah, he sure was.
He know every call. He can beat him to the punch. So like, and plus they can play. They young and playing hard. And Jose Alvarado, coached by my man Josh Patterson, Georgia Tech.
Who we lost to last year. Every time I see the Pelicans, I was like, man, we lost to Georgia Tech and Alvarado in the 9-16 season. I'm like, man, look at this dude out here, out CP3 and CP3. He getting on Chris Paul's nerves, just doing the same stuff Chris Paul does. CP was wore out in the first half because dude was in his jersey for 24 minutes. And same thing, Grant Williams in Boston, TB. When you said you hate Boston, I hate seeing him have success for the Celtics too. But Alvarado and Grant Williams from the college level, making me sick seeing them do well in the pros. But
well, So are you a Kevin Knox fan?
He had one really good game in Lexington, Vinny, that West Virginia game where I said, okay, I think he went for like 28, 29 points. The Cats came back. I said, okay, maybe he's got it. And then the rest of the season, he didn't get it. Now, I always root for Kentucky kids, but, it's 6 years later? I'm still waiting for him to kind of get it. I'm rooting for him, to answer your question.
He needs to go somewhere where he can play.
And we thought Atlanta was the fresh start that he needed.
No,
and
never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Nate don't play young players. Come on now. You know, but I did tell him what I think of some Kentucky fans. I ain't gonna say it on you all show. That's a private brother conversation. But
Kentucky fans wild as hell.
Yeah, and they say some things they shouldn't be saying if you catch my drift.
Oh yeah, they wild as hell.
I've heard a certain word in the SEC tournament, and I damn they want to go in the stands and choke them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, how the blank you cheering for these dudes, but they miss a shot, you call them a certain word.
The disconnect some of our fans have between cheering for the guys and not seeing them as fully human individuals.
They're entertainment.
It's a disconnect, and we've talked about it before.
You thought it was, so you're saying you witnessed some Mississippi school stuff from some of our fans. That's what you say.
No, in Nashville SEC tournament, you all fill up the arena.
That's right. Yes, we do.
It's pretty much Kentucky Invitational went to Nashville.
Yeah.
And
Nashville and Atlanta, yeah.
I heard them cheering, then it went to calling names. I said, the hood in me almost came out. Like, I'm telling you, little credential, go up there and beat the hell out of you and tell you what I think what you said, what you just said.
Yeah.
You said to me, I damn near hurt you. So that's been my problem. I know I heard go off topic, but it's SEC schools. How can you cheer for me on Saturdays and Wednesday nights, but hate me the rest of the week?
Yep.
That part of me never have clicked for me for SEC schools, and it bugs me. I told Kevin Knox this proudly. I'm just saying what I said to him. Y'all fans are racist. I told him that. I said it to him.
Look, you're not wrong. There's a huge disconnect between a big vocal part of the Kentucky fan base. It makes being a Kentucky fan slightly problematic. I'm not disagreeing at all. I think Vinny would say the same thing. There's, and you get this, well, there's that segment in every fan base. I'm like, well, it's some extra down in the SEC, down in the South.
Yes.
Because it's like you said, in Alabama, them boys can win Saban all those titles, but it's one of those.
I don't care about you. Hey, win me the game, Darky. Make my roll tide win, Darky. That's how it comes off to me.
And for a lot of folks, that's what it is. Now, I'm not going to paint with a broad brush, but yes, it's there. I'm not disagreeing with you. Vinny's heard it. I've heard it.
That burns my soul when I hear it from the SEC schools. Like, you want to cheer for us young black dudes making your school all this money. They ain't getting paid not a dime. They miss a shot, or they drop a ball. They an N-word, or they a monkey or a darky. No, that's not cool. And I think that the fans police each other. Say that's not cool. That's a human being out there, not your entertainment for your personal pleasure. That's somebody's son, somebody's nephew, somebody's grandchild. You calling that because they missed a shot?
Yo, still got to do better.
So I'm just saying, but that's all I told Knox off the record. I'm just telling you, it blows my mind. But man, bro, like, that's like, man, it's like, dude, like, even in the NBA, bro, like in Utah, OKC, you hear it.
Yo.
And see, I'm from the hood, so it's hard for me to hear that and not want to go punch a sucker, lose my job.
Well, speaking of Utah, the team that everybody kind of forgets about, how is Utah holding the All-Star game? How is that going to go down?
I ain't going,
because that's going to be a lot of people that look like us coming to Utah. How is that going to work?
I ain't going. Stuff in Utah closed at 8, 9 o'clock at night, bro.
Yeah,
8, 9 o'clock at night. Ain't nothing doing Utah.
Yeah, how's that going to work?
It ain't. It's usually like the black getaway for February.
Yeah,
I've warned our fellow brothers and sisters: do not go to Salt Lake City. You will be disappointed. There ain't nothing you can do. You ain't had no fun. Because I've been to Utah 12 times in my life. Never had fun.
You on that Vernon Maxwell? Forget Utah as a staff label and his group.
Oh yeah, forget Sacramento, Utah, OKC. Must I continue Toronto as well?
Wow.
You know, I don't want to go to Canada if I don't got to. Customs, have you sitting out there for 2 hours? I'm good on that.
You've been to every NBA city?
Of course, yes. Multiple times. And I'll tell you what I do not like. There's nothing to do there. Now, Memphis, so when the Tennessee State, I got friends in Memphis, so I can make it work. But Memphis is boring too. Cleveland, boring. And too cold.
Cleveland was coming up. I knew that was.
No, like, come on, man. Like, nah, bro. Portland.
Really?
It's boring.
Now, I'm gonna have to meet up with you in Memphis. My mom is from Memphis. She's from right outside. I got folks down there. I can get you into something in Memphis.
I can too. I got that hookup. Yeah, we stay at the Westin on Beale Street.
Now the stuff in Memphis, don't bring out your cell phones and stuff like that.
Look here, I was at the candy shop off Kirby, and we had a good time in the candy shop off Kirby. Karaoke, it was real fun in Memphis. Now in Memphis, I watch my back just to be safe, because
not on one's different. Yes,
having Georgia tags on your vehicle in Memphis, you sound like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love Memphis. A lot of friends in Memphis.
Yeah, Vinny, I'm not disputing any of this. Look, I say it with love. That's where my mom's from. I got folks down there, but it's different.
Yes. Look here.
Let me park. I'm gonna ride with you.
This is gonna sound real bad to me, Terry. I ain't been to the Lorraine Motel. I won't go. I don't want to stay in the spot where my man took an L at. I'm good on that. My man took an L in that spot. I'm good. I don't want to stay in that spot.
Now, the Civil Rights Museum they do have around there is very nice. The city and state, and they've invested a lot of stuff. I get your sentiment 100%, but I know I get that. But they've built that up and everything.
South, hey, look, there's down Forum Flats by the FedEx Forum now. South Second's getting gentrified. Like, the Pyramid, the biggest basketball shops known to man's the Pyramid.
I mean, when they built the Pyramid, don't get me started about the Pyramid. I'm just the Mid-South Coliseum now.
Yes, out there where the Liberty Bowl needs to be torn down and redone forever. Orange Mound, where's up, Orange Mound? Lamar, what's good? Bunton, what's good, Bunton? Frazier, Hollywood, what's good? Sam Cooper, what's good? I know about Memphis, Terry. I know.
All right. We're going to
Whitney Road, what's good? Whitney Road, what's good? Whitney.
So, one question, bringing it back to the NBA real quick. Who do you see? We watched a couple of weeks of the playoffs. Who do you see making the finals from the East and the West? Are you sold on Golden State and Steph being back? Do you think the Suns kind of get things going? Is it going to be Heat versus Bucks in the East? Kind of, what are your thoughts there?
I like the Celtics.
Okay.
The Celtics and the Warriors. That's what I like. I feel like Steve Kerr messed the game up, calling a lot for Wiggins on Sunday because swept in 4 and got Steph more rest. But whatever. The Memphis Grizzlies are an exciting team. Shout out to Usher and T Morant. I mean, whoever it is. But shout out to them. The Grizzlies, grit and grind, the grindhouse, all that's nice, but you ain't got experience because I know Jenkins. He coached with Mike Budenholzer. Don't make any adjustments either. Same stuff. It's obviously say the same play calls he's ran with the Hawks that he runs with the Grizzlies. Same stuff.
A follow-up question, because you said about coaches not making adjustments. A lot of folks just assume that the head coach in the NBA, it doesn't matter. But what you're saying, JR, is you got to have a coach that's got a plan A, B,
C, D, E. Yes. Like Tyler.
And then can make adjustments. Okay.
See, Budenholzer, Jenkins, Doc Rivers, David Millen, we do what we do. We got to do it better. It's not much variation off of what the main system is. Ty Lue wouldn't have played different stuff. So Nick Nurse in Toronto. So is Greg Popovich as well. Eric Spoelstra in Miami. So these are coaches who played the chess game. Like, sometimes some series where some guys, some series don't play because of matchups.
Yeah.
And some guys still run the same lineup no matter what. That's the difference. Like, and sometimes someone can be like a drop coverage, which when the center drops to the paint on the pick and roll, or going over the screen, going under the screen, switching 1 through 5, which is called red, switching 1 through 5, or it's a hard hedge or a dive about the strong side. So you got to kind of watch the game within the game. See, when I'm watching the game, guys, I'm watching that kind of stuff. I watch it on mute because nothing that Reggie looking to tell me can help me. Nothing that Rich Jefferson can tell me can help me. They don't know anything. I don't get a hit from Shaq or Barkley or King Smith. They just run their miles all day. I don't see them running some freaking wall. That's stupid. What the hell? So I got it on mute, watching the strategy, watching the match. I watch film, guys. Synergy every day. I watch film. So I can know what I'm talking about. So yeah, man, like when you watch the game, fans, watch it more than just make or miss. Or watch how they got the shot. Was it a pin down? Was it a curl cut? Was it a V cut? Was it a flex? UCLA cut? How they get the shot? Was it transition or was it against set defense? What are they doing? So I'm watching the game that way. I'm not watching just to watch it.
And that's why I love Hubie Brown, because Hubie Brown points that stuff out. He talks about action.
A former Hawk coach too, Hubie Brown, 88 years old, great man.
And he'll give you the action over here that led to the action over here that the ball's over here. Like he'll give. Look, when I watch Hubie Brown, look, I'm no basketball savant, but I know it pretty well. I learn something new every time I watch a game with Hubie Brown. That I'm like, you know what? I never saw that before, but thank you for pointing that out. Because most of the people you just named are just talking just to talk. But Hubie, it's like he's still coaching.
You know what? Just because you play ball doesn't mean you should be an announcer. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy. Because you play ball, you shouldn't be on TV. Because Kendrick Perkins has nothing to carry on. You have nothing. Ready. He's getting better. Screaming A. Smith knows nothing.
Oh, don't get.
I don't want to hear from that clown knows nothing. He didn't even know John Collins was out. I didn't know he was even out. What have you been watching, Jabroni? What the heck you been watching? So
not only is he wrong, he's loud and wrong.
Loud. And Shannon Sharp, you play football. Skip. What do you know about basketball? You play football. Clown. Skip knows nothing. All these clowns know nothing. If you watch ESPN, FS1, you're losing brain cells. They're telling you nothing. Okay.
Not even Nick Wright.
What does that clown know? That Rudy Poo. Who is this jabroni? That nobody. Emmanuel Oucho, a nobody. Sus Wiley, a clown. And I mean that in the worst way possible. Clown. Okay.
Man, as a Cowboys fan, when they signed Wiley, coming from San Diego or Buffalo, whenever it was, and he went through the whole season and didn't even get one sack. I'm like, there wasn't one little offensive tackle you could have taken advantage of. Got one sack.
And I feel sorry for Grambling State having a coach and Hugh Jackson, another clown.
Speaking of football, real quick, because
I'm ready for it.
TB's team's a clown, and we already got on his Lakers. Now, because look, outside of UK, we don't grill on nothing, JR.
I see. I got you. Okay, it makes a good show.
Kentucky is the foundation,
the one unifying thing you all have,
and then
but everything else we feud on
is oil and water. So I'm a Cowboys fan. He's a Niners fan.
Oh God,
his Niners, Debo. He said, "I ain't got to go home when I get up out of here." What happened? What is going on with? I tagged him in a tweet about it. He didn't even respond, so I knew he was feeling some type of way when he saw that news. So what happened? And what's Shanahan gonna do? What's going on out there?
Kyle Shanahan using it. He wants to be a receiver, not a running back. He's not Cordell Patterson. He wants to be a receiver. He wants to have longevity. Because Shanahan will run you into the ground, literally. And he should have ran the ball with the Falcons, jabroni. But now you want to throw the ball, get Matt Ryan sacked. I'm not gonna go back. Bad thoughts. But come on, like he's so rigid in his system. He'll run into the ground. Debo wants to get out of there because he sees what it's going to be. He's trying to make me a running back and a receiver and shorten my career. And he sees a Tyreek Hill getting all that money. He's also going to see my man, I got all that money, pay me now. And it's going to be the teams where are you going to pay the receiver $25 million a year or are you not? And they could probably pay him, but they have somebody on the roster called Jimmy G. They should have got Couche's going and cut. So you drafted Trey Lance. You trade all them picks for Trey Lance. Play him. If they had stayed solid, they might could have got Matt Jones anyway at 12. But they will play their hands.
The thing about it is when you got Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback, that limits your offense, right? And so what happens is you got to put Debo back there to run the ball. You get Kittle out there on these 5-yard pass plays because Jimmy G can't get the ball down the field. And the dudes are getting beat up. You know, that's the thing. Kittle has been hurt. Jusic has been hurt. Debo is getting beat up because your quarterback can't stretch the field at all. You know, their first contact is within 5 yards line of scrimmage.
Where's Shanahan's play calling?
Well, yeah, and because Jimmy G can't do anything. It's different if you got Matt Ryan.
Run them on some hitches and some inside breaking routes. Run them on some stuff that gets you behind the linebackers.
But Jimmy G can't throw those passes. That's the thing. No, now, I did see.
No, Jimmy G's good between 15 yards and in. Yes. Over 15 yards is going to be a problem. So I'm saying, keep it. Run the Drew Brees system. That's what Drew Brees did.
Yeah, but Jimmy G threw an interception in the Super Bowl with his eyes closed. So, you know,
Yes, I was there for that, brother. I watched him do it.
I was getting ready to text you. But I don't know. I hope they can patch it up because Debo was an absolute beast. But
you know, since I'm not a football fan like I used to be, I've retired from that. I'm kind of indifferent now. I'll tell you a story offline about why I'm indifferent now. But yeah, I ain't forgot about that in July. Off the blank, I ain't forgot. But you know. Like, look, Debo, I want the man to get paid. I want Metcalf to leave Seattle and get paid. I want everybody to get paid.
They trying to pay Debo as a running back? Is that what the problem is? Since he played running back, they trying not to give him that receiver money?
Shanahan wants to use him in that role. He don't want to play that role.
Right.
And then he wants to be paid as a receiver only.
And I'm wondering if they trying to lowball him and give him running back money since that's what he.
Well, they probably don't want to pay him Hill and Adams money.
Yeah, they're not going to pay him top receiver money because he doesn't have the top receiver stats. But part of that is because you running the ball with him. The issue also was they paid Kyle Jusic, the fullback, double what the going rate for fullbacks were.
And and Nick Bosa's contract extension too. Yeah, I also skipped Bosa ahead of him. It pissed him off too.
Right. So paying Jusic 2 or 3 times what the going rate for a fullback was. At the time, I was like, yeah, that's great, but you got other dudes you got to pay that I think are a little bit more important to what we're trying to do here in San Francisco, which is get to a Super Bowl, Vinny, which is the game at the end of the year of the NFL season.
Yeah. Dang, Vinny. He hit you hard, Vinny.
You know what I'm saying? But he knows, and you know that they've been there a couple of times, way more recently than the Cowboys, but the Cowboys have still won that Super Bowl more recently than the 49ers.
Vinny, we're trying to win, Vinny. We got Dak as the quarterback. Ezekiel will run the ball. We don't need Amari no more. I don't want to be tried, but Randy did not want to be with us. The Dallas Cowboys would not want to sign Randy Gregory. Well, if I did the fan, that's Jerry Jones on the Jerry Jones show.
Got to see what Cleveland's gonna do tomorrow.
We got to get on my helipad and go to the Star. See Rick in the meeting with Mike, and Mr. Mike gonna show me the play calls.
Oh Lord, I don't. Yeah, I don't have any faith in him either. Sure,
he need to retire. Look here,
man.
Vinny. Until that man die, y'all screwed.
Man, and the owners live forever. Hey, Al Davis lived till he was about 100. All these people, man.
Yes,
we still got 25 more years.
Uncle Blank, 78 years old, still living. Hey, look,
how old is
man now? I'm a Lowe's man.
How old is the Ford lady in Detroit?
She in her 90s.
Because she's like is she the daughter of Henry Ford?
And McCaskey and the Bears, 90s.
Those teams live forever, man.
Since 80s.
They do. They really do.
So, hey, I don't want to change this topic, but we wonder why they can't get any diversity in the NFL. Look how old these people are, where they came from. They grew up in that era where we don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason why they can't get nothing going, because of that right there. They all older white people who just, think a certain way.
And you're not going to tell them what to do.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it is. Whatever the penalty is for not doing the Rooney Rule, they'll pay it because they don't care.
Exactly.
It's just that simple.
Yep.
You're not going to tell Mayor for the Giants what to do?
Hey, I don't want to be no hater, but, bruh, Mike McDaniel ain't one of us. That joker ain't one of us, bro. How they get 2 picks for that joker? That joker ain't one of us. Well, boy, when I heard his comment, when I heard that, that's blocking. Dude, who the heck? What? Bruh, ain't nobody gonna be like this. This is they gonna play. They gonna be like, I don't trust this joker right there. This joker didn't say what? Bruh, he lost dudes that comment, bro. I'm telling you, I've been told this. That little comment, he lost some dudes already.
Yeah.
But it's all good. But see, y'all gonna argue all y'all. I'm gonna come back and moderate a Cowboy v 49er fight.
Oh yeah, man, it was on this last before the playoffs. The show before they won.
That's right, y'all played when homeboy did that dumb move.
Yeah, but just so.
Vinny, let me ask you a question, bro.
The 49ers did eliminate the Cowboys out of the playoffs this year.
Vinny, I used to be a Cowboy fan as a child, though, until I learned better. Look, I used to be a part of a Cowboy fan club, my man. Now, I was a part of it for the women, though. The women. I was faking it to be part of the women of Atlanta, the Cowboy club. I was faking it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I love Cowboys fans because, man, every year, this is gonna be our year. Every year. I love it.
Hey, my barber a fan of Niners. My barber a Niners fan. So I'll be like, bruh, what you thinking? I don't know, bro. But it's all good, bruh. I will come back during football season and moderate a fight between y'all.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, and look, you were in Memphis for game 1 of what? Memphis and Minnesota, right?
I was there.
And what's next? Where you gonna be? What arena we gonna see?
I'll be in FedEx Forum for game 1 or game 7 on Sunday. Since the Hawks lost, what else can I do?
Okay.
I gotta make some money somehow to pay for my off-season vacation to an island unknown to man. I can't. Island to be named later, like a trade. Island to be named later.
Has considerations and
yes, island to be named later. Coming to a city near you. Nah, but man, Memphis is on fire. Get you a growl towel, and we'll be singing "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick." Yeah, they be playing that all the time in Memphis, bro.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man, good stuff.
I saw on Twitter some people saying, "What is this song? Like, have you never ever been to Memphis ever before? What is going on now? That's not a new song. That's like that's what Memphis is about."
Come on now. Like, look here. When I go to Memphis, bro, I'm playing 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
I'm playing Player Fly. Nobody needs nobody. All I need is me and my dog. So blank all of y'all. I'm hitting that late night tip. Steals riding spinners. Getty Green, chicken head, ballers with me on some twankies. I'm hitting that. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her.
That's right. Man, I'm just glad you sent me a text the other day saying I'm free this Wednesday if you want me to come back on. I was like, of course. So, man, we appreciate you hopping on, running it back, talking about these playoffs, talking about Terry's Niners clowning and covering all these topics, man.
I hope you entertain people.
Yes, and look, man, you had
absolutely. Are you not entertained, as he said in Gladiator? Yes, sir. Absolutely, JR.
For those that don't know, bossmanshow.com. And you sent us the other day, they had a nice little write-up about you in Voyage Atlanta. Little profile piece on you. That was good stuff too, man. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, talking about the beginning of the Boss Man show when it was just me and 7 folks on talking about everything, but had to make some decisions to become just the boss man myself. I couldn't have a crew. I can't have a 6-man crew no more. I wouldn't have got the way I am today. You know, some people hate me for it still. They still hate me for it. But Vinny, 11 to 1 a.m., brother. Hard life, brother. 2 to 6 a.m. Truckers, Deer Terry, asphalt listening to you. Hard life.
You did it, man.
But I'm living it. I'm about paid off for me now. Look at me now. Look at me now, as they say. As Mike Jones said, back then they won't be them hot y'all on me. To my exes. Y'all married, but to my exes, back then they want me. Now I'm hot. You all on me.
Right, man. Hey, you had to make them decisions, had to do what you had to do, and hey, you made the right choices, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt. Well, it was fun, brothers. We got to do this again real soon, man. If you need me, holler at me. I'll come on here. We entertain the people for y'all. I don't care. It's all good with me, brother.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, JR, man.
Hey, peace. Take it easy, JR.
No doubt. Hold it down, brothers.
Oh, for sure. JR the Bossman, Bossman Show, bossmanshow.com. Hey, he's been doing it for a long time. Entertaining, knowledgeable, insightful. You know, like you say, you see him, he's gonna be in Memphis again for covering the games, doing his thing, man. Always.
The Grindhouse, baby. But the Debo thing, basically, Jimmy G just can't make those plays downfield, right? Like we know what Jimmy G is, and he isn't. Yep. So it's still miraculous that the 49ers have been as good as they've been with Jimmy G at quarterback. I think I've said that several times. I think when they signed him, I tried to talk myself into it. I tried to talk myself into when they beat the Packers in the NFC Championship game. They only let that man throw 8 passes to rationalize it. I can't do it. He is what he is. Mm-hmm. And so that's what the 49ers offense is like Jimmy G can't make these plays. How do we get the ball to our playmakers? Debo, you want to run it? Debo, you know, so and Debo is basically like he wants that money. Mm-hmm. Because paying Kyle Juszczyk, which I'm glad they paid him, but you know, you can't triple pay him and then lowball other people.
I mean, the Moose Johnston and Tom Rathman was like, man, I wish we could be Juszczyk right now. We beat ourselves to death, and look what this dude getting paid today. Boy.
Yeah. So I hope they can repair the situation. Because I love Debo. I mean, he flat out won a lot of games for the 49ers over the last couple of years. So I hope we can I hope they can convince him to stay because we need him.
Oh, I hope it just keeps blowing up. I'm loving this drama, loving the strife, and loving his discontent with the organization. So
let me tell you something. You've got a lot of nerve as a Cowboys fan talking about drama and somebody of all the audacity. You got me in my Stephen A voice. Of all the unmitigated gall as a Cowboys fan, you talk about some drama on another team. Ain't that something?
That is, and yeah,
that is something.
Yeah. we got dudes filming ladies that they shouldn't. We got all kind of stuff. We got issues, but yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, I hope the 49ers figure it out. But you know, I'm at a good place. I want them to win, but they got to. I want to see what Trey Lance is going to do. George Kittle came out, I don't know, yesterday, day before, with a quote talking about how good and strong an arm that Trey Lance has.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like he did not say Jimmy G, but it was kind of like, yeah, he can throw this ball down the field a little bit, so I ain't got to get beat up 10 yards from the line of scrimmage.
That's true. That's true.
You know, you see all these highlights of Kittle. It's the plays like he catches it and he's fighting off dudes, and like he'd rather not have to do that. You know,
Yeah.
because you look at what Kelsey's got in Kansas City and what Gronk has been able to do. I'm sure Kittle's like, I would love to just be able to catch the ball downfield a little bit without sacrificing my body. Because all before we got banged up. We've been banged up but from the Super Bowl coming forward. Finally got healthy this year. And so the window was right there.
Yeah.
That's my concern is make this Debo thing work. Let's go with Trey Lance and let's run it back.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially in NFC, it's right now.
Yeah.
I know the Rams won, but we have beaten the Rams a lot. I'm not really worried about the Rams. I don't know who else in the NFC to be scared of.
Yes. Because
Aaron Rodgers ain't beating the 49ers in the playoffs ever.
That's true.
Forever. I'm saying it.
That is true.
I tell you, nothing gets Packers fans. Look, the other day, since we're in the draft, the time of the draft, it was 20 years ago, whatever it was, when Aaron Rodgers cut that promo. The San Francisco is going to be sorry they didn't draft him. It comes up all the time.
Yeah.
And I said 0-4, and the Packers fans like, well, look, let me tell you, he won a Super Bowl and you ain't won. That's fine. But he can't be the 49ers in the playoff. What he said was he was going to make the 49ers pay, and he has not.
Sure has.
I bet you would like a Super Bowl championship. Yes, I would. I absolutely would like a Super Bowl championship. But that does not change the fact that the Golden Boy cannot beat his hometown 49ers.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And as I tell the youth, well, the 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since Friends debuted. I remember it, so it counts.
Yep.
It counts.
Yes, it does.
Like, as you bring up, the Cowboys championship, 1 year more recent than that, it counts. I saw it. It counts.
That's right. That's right. I'm hanging on to them 3 that I still remember. So
right. They still count.
Yeah.
If I remember them, they count.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Getting back to your Lakers, though, everybody talking about Jerry West and him upset with winning time and how he's portrayed. Now we got a This Is Magic documentary coming out, and look like Magic is rocking with that. He's not rocking with winning time, right? Or he's saying it's not. What's going on with that?
The book is fantastic. Showtime, the book by Jeff Pearlman, is fantastic. As a Lakers fan, I read it because I'm a Lakers fan. I like the intrigue. Now, because I've read the book, I can watch the show differently. Okay. And I think we talked about it last week. We're watching it together, the missus and I, and I'll pause and be like, yeah, that's not exactly how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I can watch it and be entertained. And to me, it's just a TV show. It's not a historical telling at all.
No.
Now, my issue with it is you could have been more accurate, and it's still a great story.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a great story that that Jerry Buss was almost broke. The Lakers were almost bankrupt when he took over and drafted Magic Johnson. To me, that's a great story. I know you don't want to hear it, but as I always say, teams that are great, they're not always destined to be great. A lot of work goes into that. Mm-hmm. And so in the Showtime book, you get a lot of that. How did you go from the Lakers being almost bankrupt to then winning 5 of the next 12 championships, playing in 9 finals? How did that happen? Yes, you get Magic, you got Kareem, but how did they become the thing?
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that's a great story to tell without all this. Now, the Jerry West stuff, I was just made aware of this. I need to go listen to the actual podcast. A lot of people on social media are dunking on Jerry West because he's upset. I'm like, he's 83. His resume when it comes to basketball is impeccable as a player, as a coach, as an executive. I mean, he helped Showtime get rolling. He helped Shaq and Kobe do their thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so he's 83, and he doesn't want his last years for people to think he was a raging alcoholic drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And so Adam McKay, the man behind all of the adaptation of Winning Time, actually had a podcast that, again, I'm not 100% aware of, but I need to listen to, called Death at the Wing. And it was basically looking at the NBA in the 80s when the drug usage was bad and kind of, you and I remember the 80s. It was different. And the NBA was not what it is now.
Right.
This was still when the NBA was still on tape delay. The
Yeah.
finals were on tape delay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's talking to different players, old time. So long story short, he has Jerry West on to talk about playing in the late 70s. Talk about that time period. And Jerry West is very reclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jerry West opened up about his mental health struggles.
Mm.
Because it is a fact that losing to Boston 7 straight times killed him. That's a fact. Over dramatized for TV, but it ate at it. And even winning in 72 really didn't do it for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he has talked previously about being able to find joy in life. And so this podcast was just last year. So Jerry West goes on. He's 82, 83 years old. He's opening up about a very serious subject of mental health in the 70s.
Yeah.
And how much he's been trying to work with that moving forward. So my point is, I'd be hurt too if you open up to someone and then they have a project and make you seem completely different than you are.
Mm.
He has a right to be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Supreme Court, whatever. But yes, he has a right to be hurt.
Yeah.
Me personally. And when you read these quotes, Adam McKay, I talked to Jerry West. He was incredibly disarmed and moved and open about his mental health struggles. Like, that's McKay talking about Jerry West, and then this is the portrayal that we get. I can understand why Jerry West would be upset. And people, well, it's just a TV show. Well, you can say that if it ain't you.
Right. Right. That's true. That's true.
I just it's tricky when you start having these real life shows because, like I said, the Lakers story in general, you don't have to fabricate.
Right.
Like you don't have to add spice to it. It's a great story. I would watch a story, something like this, when Jerry Jones taking over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Because that 1-15, that they were dreadful. America's team has fallen. How do you rise back up and win 3 out of 4 Super Bowls?
You had the fire injury and all that. So yeah.
Right. I would watch that. I don't like the Cowboys, but that's an interesting story to me without, making Tom Landry out to be a drunk and Jimmy Johnson. Like, you don't need to do that to tell this story. So I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it, but I'm like, this ain't what I read.
Yeah.
This,
So you're gonna watch I'm sure you're gonna be all over the This Is Magic when it comes out too. You can watch that one as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch This Is Magic, but I love Magic. He's the reason I'm a Lakers fan. It's Magic and Jerry Rice are my two up there. Like I can't imagine Magic trying to watch Winning Time with Cookie. Like that. So, nobody is really happy with how they're portrayed. And I get that to some extent. But I think Jerry West has got a bigger gripe than anything.
That makes sense.
But I'm gonna watch it. It is interesting. Again, to see even a slight dramatization. Some of the stuff, a young Kobe Bryant in the stand, okay, I could maybe do without that. Or just little nuggets. It's a little too winky, a little too cheeky,
Yeah.
a little much. That's like, talking about the Cowboys documentary. Having a young Tony Romo, and just like, hey, okay, it's you're doing too much.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure how I feel about the Pat Riley portrayal of that. So I'm not watching for historical accuracy, but I can understand where the particulars of the people being portrayed. I can see them, being upset by it.
Well, I got you. A couple of more little UK things too. New strength coach for the basketball, Rob Harris, is departed. So there will be a new strength coach whenever that position gets filled. So we're not insiders, but we saw that in a little group message, and then we saw it become public knowledge. So
there had to be a change. We've dealt with a lot of injuries and a lot of really kind of weird things, and not putting all the blame, but sometimes change is good. Sometimes change is necessary. So, wishing well, but kind of got to move in a different direction, especially when you have a season derailed by injuries, quite like we had last year.
That's true. And an event that you covered, the Caspies are going on right now as we speak. So congratulations to all the athletes that are about to win those and be on the blue carpet and enjoy that event that I don't know the word I'm looking for. Festive event that takes place right now. So congratulations.
I love the Caspies and covering it, except I realize I don't know who a lot of these people are without them being in uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to be like, and who are you again? So it's difficult. It's difficult. Like, well, she probably plays basketball and she's tiny. That's probably gymnastics, but I don't know names. Even then, I realized I don't know what a lot of the football players look like.
Right.
Because most of the time we see them is, I don't really know. Is that, okay.
Yeah, if I ran into them out in Lexington, I wouldn't know every one of them.
Like, what number are you? Give me something. But that's always a fun event. It's always a reminder of really how good all the teams around Kentucky athletics are.
So, and they deserve to get that recognition and dress up and get all formal and have an event like that. So yeah. Mark Emmert will eventually be stepping down next year or some point, finally. So there's that.
Look, man, I'm not always one to bag on the NCAA, but I can't imagine being that bad at my job and being able to leave on my own terms next year.
Next summer.
And the things that people point to as Mark Emmert, like successes, that was going to happen regardless. Like getting the billions of dollars from CBS, Turner Sports for the men's tournament, you and I could have done that. Like, that's not a hard negotiation. But when you look at the misses and how the women's basketball championship has been mismanaged and mishandled, on top of the weight room issue from the kind of semi bubble they had in 2021. There's just no way that those young ladies shouldn't be making, that tournament should make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no ifs, ands, buts or about that.
Yeah.
Even gymnastics. There's things you can market that aren't men's basketball and football, and they're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that is women's sports.
That's
A
right.
lot of the rules are archaic, like the scholarship situation for baseball. There's 11.7 scholarships per team.
Mm-hmm.
And with the NCAA, the problem is so many people involved with the NCAA, even from the term student athlete, they're trying to run the playbook like it's 1962.
Mm-hmm.
And once the billions came into college athletics, it changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can say it's amateur, but it's only amateur because you're not paying the actual people playing.
Right. That you got.
And even
money.
with NIL, that ain't coming out of nobody else's money. That's
Right.
these kids hustling for money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I don't know how you can look at Mark Emmert's run as anything less than it's a failure.
Mm-hmm.
How you took something, and we've never been warm to the NCAA, right? What you understand is necessity. But to go from what it was even 10, 15 years ago to what it is now, it's a joke.
Mm-hmm. And he going to sleep at night and doing it with a straight face all these years.
Yeah. The punishments of the infractions has always been applied unevenly, unwieldy. We know what happened in North Carolina. And there was no punishment for that.
Yeah.
And in Louisville, I'm no Louisville fan, but they've been in limbo for about 4 years now.
Yep.
Still waiting on all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mac has come and gone, and they still don't know. And that's not fair to keep that cloud over a program.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I could make $3 million a year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And basically all you're doing is handing out trophies. I can do that. You can get a monkey to hand out a trophy.
Mm-hmm. That's it. A couple more topics, man, before we finish up. Stuff I got to throw at you. We talked a lot of MLB last week, but this week, man, got to give props to Miguel Cabrera up there with Detroit. Got his 3,000th hit. And if I saw it right, 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, a 300 career batting average. Only himself, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron are the only dudes that can say that they've done that. And as old as we are, we went most of our lives, and I think we had never seen a Triple Crown in our lifetime until he hit for the Triple Crown. It was right about the same time of American Pharoah did it in horse racing. But
that's right.
We had never seen a baseball player hit for the Triple Crown, and Miguel Cabrera did that as well. So, dude's had a great career. 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, up there for the Tigers, and he's kind of doesn't get talked about a lot. The Tigers haven't been that good in a while. Been a minute since they went to that. I think they went to the World Series, lost to the Cardinals, but it's been a while. But he's up there doing work. So congratulations to Miguel Cabrera. This one to get you riled up too. That's why I wrote it down. We talked about how the Jazz get on our nerves. I don't like the Mavs either, but we don't care for the Jazz. So I know you just had to be so proud and happy to see the love that the Spider to Gobert alley-oop was getting that won the game when they were comparing it to the Shaq and Kobe alley-oop in Game 7 of the conference finals against Portland.
Man, we never should have gave the youth social media. Like, whatever you think, if Elon Musk can get everybody in their 20s off of the social media, I'll be happy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Donovan to Rudy, come on now. That was the cap. Like, that was a moment, and you can't. Come on now.
I mean, I don't even like the Lakers. This is a first round series against the Mavs, who haven't got out of the first round since that last title that Dirk won.
That's
and
wild
then
to me.
The Lakers, I was devastated because I was rooting for Portland, but they came all the way back, and that was pretty much the signature play that clinched them going to the finals against those Jailblazers and Scottie Pippen and Rasheed and all that. There's no comparison to what's at stake. You get a trip to the finals is on the line against whoever wins this first round series that probably won't advance when they get to the next round. It's no comparison.
Yeah,
I knew that would get under your skin, so I had to bring.
I tweeted about it, and look, I remember that play more than any of the, probably more than any of the other finals plays that they won. They won, 3 straight finals. I remember that play, and I remember Iverson stepping over Lou, but I don't have a memory of those wins. It's just basically Shaq being Shaq and Kobe being Kobe and winning. But yeah, that play, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
I probably put I'm not a Lakers fan, but you mentioned the Iverson, Tyronn Lue, the alley-oop, and then I'm probably throwing Ori's 3 against Sacramento up there third.
Yeah, that shot.
Yeah.
Probably this, got the Lakers to the finals. 0.4 against the
Spurs.
against the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, don't do that, Utah.
Yeah. Last thing too, I know your Little Miss especially is getting to be a good little cook, and y'all have interacted with Robert Irvin in the past and interacted with these chefs on Food Network and stuff. I didn't know if you had watched. It's already come and gone now, but that Tournament of Champions on Food Network that came on, where it's, dude, that if you haven't, I think you would love it. They've expanded. I think the first year was 16 chefs, had them in 4 regions. Is exactly like a March Madness bracket with the chefs. You got a 1 versus 8.
Mm-hmm.
It was 32 this past year. Manit Chauhan was defending champ. You got Jet Tila. You got Madison Cowan. You got all the chefs that in brackets, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, the whole deal. Guy Fieri hosted, and the crazy thing is they had this little, what they call a randomizer, where it's 4 different things where you spin like the showcase on Price is Right. That determines what meat they use. That determines what vegetable they use. That determines what style of meal it is. That determines what appliance or kitchen tool that they use. And then that also determines the amount of time they had to cook it. So sometimes he spins it, and it's some hellacious stuff, and they are looking at it like, we got to do this in 25 minutes.
I've seen clips of that.
Oh, dude, you will love it. And then after they both cook, they bring in the judges. All the judges know is you got Simon Majumdar, who shadows one chef, talking about getting information so he can present it to the judges what they're doing. The other dude, I forget his name, Justin Werner, the little quirky dude, he shadows the other chef and basically just tell him what they did, how they did it, how much time. The judges come in, they don't know who cooked what. All they know is what the randomizer is. This meat, this amount of time, this style. And they are totally unsympathetic to everything that chef had to go through to get this plate in front of them. It could be the worst. Look, Terry, you got 5 minutes to turn this toast into some caviar, and you got to make it in a dessert, and you got to do the. And they tell the judges that, and they're like, whatever. And then they still eat it and nitpick it to death, just like you see on all your other shows. But Tournament Champions, when that comes out next season, look, I was even flipping away from some games to watch it because I watch it every week, and it was just good stuff. And if you like food, and we talk food, and we've had foodies on here with us, Dana Falk, the Hungry Fan.
Yeah.
So I think for those of y'all that haven't seen it, I think you'll like it. It's March Madness for elite chefs. It was really cool.
And Little Miss just the other day sends me a text message. She made chicken noodle soup without the chicken. Showed me a picture, and she made a bunch of vegetables and all this kind of stuff. And so she's still cooking. She's still letting me know she's still doing her cooking thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just cool to see the little youngsters cooking up stuff. And Mike is there trying to make some breakfast. Little Miss is in there. She's for real been doing some stuff for a while. So yeah.
I look at those old pictures, and we started with just basic recipes, and I just let her do her thing. I'm like, what do you want to make? Let's get these ingredients. Let's go for it.
Absolutely. Well, man, it's been another fun show, jam-packed. We got it all in. Got the playoffs in. Thanks to JR for hopping on. Good stuff with you on the dad pod. You and Big Blue Drew. Have to get him back here. Maybe before he has those twins, where he still got a little chance to have some breathing room.
Twins, man, like you know how it is with parent math. 1 to 2 does not mean things get double. There's a weird kind of calculation that goes on to that. So adding twins to that, I can't even math that math, man.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So y'all keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter at Cats Talk Wednesday. And now you can watch us live, bs3tvlive.com. Let me make sure I got that right. So we'll put that out right here as soon as the show's over with. Don't forget our buddies La Terrain Watches and our guy Christian McCollum at playactionpools.com. Everybody keep enjoying yourselves. We ain't sweating it, but we'll see how the DJ Wagner stuff is going to play out. BBN is going to be in a panic about that because you got fam on both sides of the aisle with KP and his granddaddy. You got Milt over here and you got Cal over here. So we'll see. BBN and Card Nation is all going to be in a tizzy until that gets resolved. But
I can't believe we're actually recruiting somebody that I watched their grandfather play.
Man,
that's blowing my mind. I watched Milt Wagner back in '86. Like, how is this possible? But world keeps on turning, man.
Ain't that the truth? You're right. Enjoyed it, man. The soul of the BBN. Appreciate you.
Thank you, and we'll do it again next week. And I had something quick and pithy to say, but I can't remember what it was now. So probably about you rooting against my teams is what it is. Because every time I say something about my teams, you're talking about how you root against them. We're going to work on that.
I do. Man.
You need to become a Lakers fan. I'm going to work on that for you. I'm going to send you some stuff.
Okay. All right. All right. And congrats to all the cats that's going to get drafted over the next few days, too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Go Cats.
No comment on that purple and gold statement you just made. We'll see everybody next Wednesday. Appreciate y'all watching Cats Talk Wednesday TV. This is Vinny. We'll see y'all next week.